Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
We have one more speaker that we're going to introduce, and it's a video. So I'm going to pull up that recording. And as I do, let me first introduce who it is. This is Dr. Patrick K. Porter. Patrick K. Porter, PhD, is an award-winning author, educator, consultant, entrepreneur, and speaker with 20 years of experience operating the largest self-help franchise in the world. He has become a highly sought-after expert within the personal improvement industry, having sold over 3 million of his self-help products worldwide. Dr. Porter has been on the cutting edge of brainwave entrainment technology for 32 years. He was a co-developer of the MC2, the first personal light and sound brain training machine, voted Best New Gadget of the Year at the 1989 Consumer Electronics Show. And his team was voted the best new health app at the 2019 Consumer Electronics Show. So with that, let's bring up his video. And I had trouble with the audio last time, so when I play it, I'm going to rely on you to please let me know if the audio is coming through. So I think that's why.
What if I was to tell you I was blessed to be the son of an alcoholic? You might be thinking, how's that so?
Yes,
well, I was thinking the same thing until 1970 when the church elders came over and invited my dad to a seminar. It was a relaxation seminar where they taught him how to relax and use meditation, but not the type of meditation you might be thinking about. They taught him an enhanced meditation that showed him that he was using alcohol to turn off his survivor brain. And even though he wasn't getting to that thriving brain, now with the help of enhanced meditation, he was able to turn off that discomfort and turn on his thriving brain. And he wanted to teach it to his kids. Now, we all want to do that, but something happens in our biology, right? These bodies haven't changed much since the ancestors here when we're being chased by saber-toothed tigers. In fact, the stress that they experienced in those times, they say maybe 5 or 6 times during a week would we have these kind of stress responses. Where today with technology, they say about 10 to 12 times every day, we're getting these stress responses that trigger us to shift into that survivor brain instead of staying in that thriving brain or that healing brain. Now, what's causing it? You can think of things like different brain states. When we sleep, we need to downshift, get our body to relax, get into the rhythms of sleep. But when we need to interact or react with life, we need to rev back up. And in between, we have resting states, innovative states, and intuitive states. And it all takes a shift of consciousness or a shift of experiences. And our biology is affected by what's around us. Now, because of the technology world that we live in, we might wake up in the morning, start our emails, start our texts, our lights that we have. All of those things are affecting us in either a very positive way. So technology can be very positive for us, or it can be very negative for us if it causes us to get into that stress response or that survivor brain. What I want to teach you about is taking technology and learning how to get into that thriving brain. Now, most people think of meditation as being years of practice, learning how to do it in a very strenuous way, certain breathing techniques, maybe certain words, maybe even going off into the mountains and learning from a master. I'm here to tell you with technology, we can do it easily, we can do it quickly, but it does take a little bit of effort, and that's what I'm going to go over today. So first of all, inherently, we have a need to get outside of ourselves or get outside of our consciousness. So imagine with me that we're nomads, and we're traveling across the plains, and we don't know if we're going to survive or not. We're on the hunt, we're gathering, and then we finally get all of our supplies for the year. It's time to celebrate. We would celebrate in such a way that we might have a drum circle where we'd hear the sounds of the drum, we would be dancing, we would be singing. All of this would help us get outside of our survivor brain and into our thriving state, these fun experiences. Now, we can't do that anymore, and we choose not to do that, but we can do it with technology. So in the lab, what I've been doing for the last 30 years is using different sounds. Sounds using things like binaural beats, isochronic tones, solfeggio frequencies. I've recorded one here today so you can listen to it, what I'm talking about. Just take a listen and see if you understand this. Now, your conscious mind might be saying, wow, how are those sounds actually affecting my biology? Well, the truth is that it's not your conscious mind that's being affected. It's that other than conscious part of that, what we call the subconscious mind. The truth is that your subconscious mind runs 95% of the activities of your body. While you're listening to me right now, your subconscious is controlling your breathing over 21,000 times. Your heartbeat, 86,000 times. This is all being done with and without your awareness. In fact, while your conscious mind is taking care of what's most important for you, your subconscious is taking care of what's most important for your biology. So we need ways to shift that. Now, that was a sound that helps you to relax, but some of you might have woke up this morning to the sound of an alarm clock. That's okay, but what happens when that alarm goes off? Instantly, at that moment, you went from your sleeping brain into a survivor brain, because that fight or flight response happened the moment that alarm went off. Now, depending upon what happened to you during the amount of your morning, if you got another text, you got an email, got an argument with a family member, whatever was going on for you, you either shifted gears, went back into your thriving brain, or you stayed locked into that survivor brain. The problem is because of low-level chronic stress that we're all under, sometimes we can't get out of that gear for ourselves. Now, how did the ancient people do it? How did we do it before we had technology? Well, if we were waking up in a cave, or we're waking up in our teepee, or we're waking up in a hut, we would wake up gently to the light of the sun. That light would transform us from being in the sleeping state to the awakened state. We'd then go out with our community, have a conversation, make the plans for the day, and we'd be about our business. Now, unfortunately, what does technology do for us? At night, we're staying up late. We have lights. Before the advent of lights and technology, the average person slept over 12 hours. As we are right now, the average person sleeps less than 6. So technology has a direct effect. How's that affecting our biology? Just one thing that it's doing. Think of melatonin. Science shows that if you don't get to sleep by 10 o'clock at night, you don't produce as much melatonin, which is a very important brain cleanser. It cleans your brain and helps you detoxify, which means you can have brain fog and increased stress and anxiety. So the technology is affecting you in that way. How did the ancient people do it? Well, at the end of the day, maybe they were stressed, maybe they weren't, but they would sit around and they'd watch the sunset. During that sunset, they'd watch the light from the sun. It would gently tell their body, hey, it's time to slow down, start to relax, start to get into that groove of sleep. You'd sit around the campfire, you'd talk about what happened to you during the day. And as that light from the fire went out, you would then slowly calm down and you would go to sleep. The key in what's going on is that we can do that if we want. We can go out and build fires. We can do everything that our ancient people did, but most people don't want to do that. So what have we done? What I created was a device that uses light. So I want to show it to you right now. And just like the sound, just kind of keep an open-minded how this works, and I'm going to explain it to you. So as you put this light on, your eyes are closed. The light is actually going to work through closed eyelids. There's also lights in the ears. It's called auricular therapy. This light and sound mirrors each other. So what's happening in the right ear is happening in the left eye and vice versa. It's balancing the brain. During this balance process, mimicking nature, we're transforming you from the awake state to the sleeping state and then back. Very much in the same way that what happens when you listen to music. So as you listen to music, what happens is you're teleported. You know, when you look into your pocket right now, your technology, we can go to any site, any music site right now and put a soundtrack to our life. So if we want to listen to classical music, we want to listen to rock and roll, all of those things we can put behind us, and they help us through that frequency response to either get motivated, maybe when we have to do some work, or slow down and relax if we want to de-stress. The reason I talk about music like we see up here, the symphonic kind of music, what they call Baroque classical music, is a science called the Mozart effect. What we know is when you listen to this music, your brain actually syncs with that music. This music happens to be 10 hertz frequency music or 10 cycle music. This 10 cycle music actually triggers the same response in the brain as meditation. So you can use music to teleport your brain into this space. They actually know through research that if you listen to this type of music when you study, you're actually going to be smarter, even though you didn't learn anything different, you weren't presented any new learning strategies, just that your biology was in a better state for learning that information. Take the example of going to the ocean. You might have been to the ocean before and you were upset before going there, but the moment you sat down near the ocean and you started watching the waves from the ocean, you started listening to those waves, slowly letting the waves wash in and wash out. The light from the sun, all of that is happening around you, and you start to relax. It's not just that it's beautiful. It's the ocean itself has a resonant frequency of 10 hertz. That happens to be the same as meditation. So when we're talking about mimicking nature, we're talking about the ocean resonating a frequency of 10 hertz. It triggers our biology to start to produce something called acetylcholine. That's a neurotransmitter that's present when we fall in love. So when somebody says, I love the ocean, they're identifying with the chemical reaction that happens from the physiological effect of being around a body of water that's mimicking the same sensations and feelings of love. And we can do this with technology. When you think about meditation, most people think about going to the mountains, maybe going to the Himalayas and studying with a guru and relaxing. Well, just imagine with me just for a moment, if we were on a spaceship together and we're flying toward Earth and we're able to measure the frequency of the planet, it would measure from 0.01 frequency to 100. The planet, throughout the planet, different places are having different resonant frequencies. Well, there's also another thing that does the same thing from 0.01 to 100. That's the human brain. And our biology actually mimics our environment. So why meditate in the mountains? When you're at the mountaintop, like at tree level, it happens to be 7.8 hertz frequency. That just happens to be the state of theta. Theta triggers a chemical reaction in the body, turning on the most powerful pharmacy on earth, the human brain. You start to create this GABA response that helps you to sleep deeply, recharge, but is also associated with super conscious states of invention, intuition. Most of us have heard stories of great inventors in their labs taking cat naps, going to sleep with a problem and waking up with a solution. This happens through the theta state. Now, this isn't just something we made up. We've been researching this in our labs since 1980. This is a report that we did and we published through the Integrative Health Conference in Cleveland, Ohio in 2020. What we did is we took 100 subjects, 50 male, 50 female. These were people that had never meditated before. We wanted them to experience audio-visual entrainment, enhanced meditation. What would happen if we had them experience it, if we measured them before and we measured them after? Now, the tool we use to measure them is called HRV, heart rate variability. It's the gold standard in measuring health. We can measure several different characteristics of the body before and after. The most incredible thing that we found was that the general population of those 100 people had a 38.5% decrease in stress in just 20 minutes. We didn't teach them how to meditate. We didn't teach them how to breathe. We didn't tell them they had to listen. All they had to do was lay there and let this technology-driven meditation guide them in and out of a state of consciousness that mimics nature. By doing that, they were able to transform themselves from the stress state or that survivor brain and shift gears into that thriving brain. Now, because you've been shown this technology today and you start to learn that technology can be used to shift gears and help you to be more youthful, more vibrant, and more dynamic, and to be as simple as pulling out your smartphone, pressing play on your app, and begin to change. You can also enhance it by using the headset like I'm showing here that provides light, sound, and vibration. Together, they can take you from your survivor brain, shifting gears and putting you into that thriving brain. It can all start as early as today because technology is available. My hope for you is that you're going to join me on my mission of bettering 1 billion brains. And as you tap into your own power by using technology in the world around you, I want you to know that it all starts It's simply doing a little bit of research in light, sound, and vibration. So I want to thank you for allowing me to share this message with you today. Let's do that. The last part, I got to just done that, so it's over. That's it.
That's a great way to end the video. I've actually used the brain tap. I had a student who brought that to me one day, and she fell in love with it and swore by it, and so I tried it once, and it's interesting how it stimulates the auricular points on the ears and senses through the eyelids on the eyes. All right, well, thank you, Dr. Porter, for sharing that that information and